It's a bit surprising, obviously, at first, because obviously I used to watch all these clubs on Match of the Day every week, and you dream to come to a massive club like Arsenal and play in Champions League football and then play for your country. So that was a bit surprising for me at first. But the same as anything, my parents, number one, don't let me get carried away. And at the same time, I had a lot of respect for everything at Southampton and all my teammates there, and obviously at the time we were trying to get promoted. So when all the speculation was coming out, my number one priority was still to get promoted with Southampton and develop there. So it was a bit surprising, and it's nice to hear, but it wasn't hard for me to keep my feet on the ground. You know, I had a lot of commitments at Southampton that season, so I just kept my head down and focused on that. And you know, you almost let everything take care of itself as it did in the end. No, I think for me, I was always favoured Arsenal. It's a massive club, and I've loved the way they play football and the players that they brought through and the players they brought in, and just the whole atmosphere of the club. You know, I remember when I was younger, I used to go and watch Southampton versus Arsenal when they used to come, and I used to watch Thierry Henry, and I went to the Emirates a few times, and the atmosphere was just unbelievable. And you know, it wasn't a hard decision for me. You know, Arsenal was always my favourite club, and you know, I was delighted that I managed to come. Not difficult at all, really. I was just dying to get on the pitch for Arsenal, and to be able to make my debut at a place like Old Trafford. It was a massive experience for me. It was an unbelievable moment. Obviously, it was difficult after the game to realise that we just lost 8-2. You never expect that to happen to anyone, and you know, never mind Arsenal away at Old Trafford. So that was hard to take, and I think that did put a dampener on the occasion, really, obviously, because we were all gutted about the result, and in the end, making my debut didn't really mean anything at that time. But obviously, looking back at it now, to make your debut at Old Trafford and just to be able to come on and try and help your team, it was massive experience for myself, and I wouldn't change it for the world. You know, I learned a lot that day, and you know, so soon in my Arsenal career. I think we all did, because after that, you know, I think it changed our season, really. We picked up after that heavy defeat, and you know, we never looked back, really. I don't know, really. I think I've always grown up playing centre mid. I think naturally I'm more of an inside midfielder, but at the same time, even when I play there, I like to dribble, and you know, maybe sometimes it's not the kind of position that you can always dribble. So playing out wide for me is good, because I get the licence to do that side of the game. And express myself in that way. But I do like playing in centre mid. Obviously, the Milan game was really nice for me. Obviously, for the boss to put so much trust in me on a big occasion like that, really making my first appearance in centre mid for Arsenal. It was massive for me, and I was dying with flu as well that day. Yeah, I can remember. I didn't even think I'd make the game. You know, I was struggling with flu a bit, but in the end, I went along with it. And then I think the first half I was okay, and then you know, when we stopped for half time, it sort of hit me, and I was coughing and spluttering. And I went out second half, and I was struggling a bit. So obviously, in the end, I came off. But so for him to put trust in me, and I wasn't too well either that day. It was a nice game for me, and to gain experience in the Champions League, especially, and playing in a central midfield role was a big eye-opener for me, and the way we played on that day was amazing and inspirational for Arsenal fans. I think, you know, the way we came out and with almost no fear. So it was a nice game. But I think maybe, you know, I think the boss sees me maybe developing into a central midfield player as I get older. But if I stay out on the wing, then I'm happy to do that. You know, I just have to see where I'm best suited and go with that. He's a nice man. You know, he's very calm, and he's got that sort of aura about him, and you know, he's the boss. But the way he speaks, you know, it's really intelligent, and everything he said to me on the first day was quite inspirational, and it gave me a lot of drive to come in and prove that he made the right decision to sign me. He does, yeah. He does it in a clever way. He's not so much like you hear him shouting all the time in training, but he doesn't miss anything. You know, he's always watching, and if he sees something, he might shout sometimes on the training ground to tell you, but he'll always remember it and he'll bring it back up next week or the week after, and he'll remind you what you weren't doing or what you were doing and what you need to be doing. So he's very clever in the way that he watches training and observes all of us. So yeah, he is very involved.